Caitlin, Customer Success Manager here at SONAR, and welcome back to WithSONAR. This webinar is designed to help explore tools and use cases to enhance your overall SONAR experience. Last episode, we went over our new geopolitical alerts, which allow you to provide your teams with immediate visibility into any emerging risk and where to monitor that impact directly within SONAR. This week, I'm going to highlight our Excel Add-In, which allows you to view SONAR data directly in Excel to enhance your pricing models or any custom reporting directly in the spreadsheets that you're already working out of. Now, let me share my screen. This tool is as easy as downloading the add-in and inputting your credentials, so there's no IT or tech resources required. Once set up, you can easily import your desired data sets as well as state ranges to get real-time rates and capacity conditions such as volume, rejections, and more. To start off, I want to review the capabilities on a high level. So I have our Excel add-in training sheet pulled up over here. This is going to give you an overview of the different formulas and granularities that are available so that you can get an idea of what you can build out on your own. So I'm going to start off with our single field calls. So sometimes you just want to look at a data set very easily and just know what that reported value is without trying to decipher what you're looking at in a chart. You just get the raw numbers. So that is where these single field calls are going to come in. So you can pull any ticker within SONAR with the sonar.ticker, and you'll get that value returned. So right now I have rejections pulled up on a national level as of yesterday. You can see what this value was as of last year and then what that current value is. That easily allows you to see current value compared to last year's value and see that significant growth in those tender rejections compared to last year. Now, you can also pull our spot rates. Our spot rates are going to be updated daily, which is great. But again, if you just want that easy value that you want to look at, or if you want to see what rates were last week, you could input the date range that you desire or the single date that you want to look at here and get that value returned. So you can see, again, easily what that current rate is. If you want to see what the rate was this time last week, you can pull that as well. Same for that contract rate. Obviously, contract rates are not moving as quickly as those spot rates, but ours are still updated on a weekly basis. So if you wanted to see that current report of contract rates, you can do so. If you want to see what contract rates on this lane were last year, you also can easily do that. We also have a mileage formula. So if you don't want to calculate mileage on your own, or if you don't have mileage, you can easily pull that with our formula. And you can also see the last time that a data set was updated. So if you want to know how real-time our data is, how frequently each data set is going to be updated, you can also view that easily as well. So single field calls are going to be great when you're looking for a specific single value from a certain time period, but let's say that you want more of a range of data or rates. That is going to be where the range indices come in, or the range formulas. So again, it's going to allow you to pull a range for the data set that you're interested in for the selected time period. So if you want to look at rejections for drawband for the Houston market specifically, but let's say you're not just worried about what's happening currently in time, you want to see how this has fluctuated year to date to better understand how capacity conditions have shifted in this market to help report to your team on what's happening in the Houston market for drawband specifically. Or if you're managing customers that operate heavily out of Houston and you want to explain to them why your rates at the beginning of the year have such severely increased compared to now. You could easily put in that ticker code again. So this is the rejections for van specifically out of Houston. The date range for end of January to current. So this is going to be a 2-month look back. So we're going to give you the daily report for those rejections out of Houston. If you scroll down, you can see that end of January, rejections were sitting at 4.75%, and they are currently at 10%. So they have pretty severely increased, compared almost double since the beginning of the year. So that is just really easy to see. You have that raw number if that speaks better to your mind. Then if you wanted to look at volume as well, you could also look at drawband volume for Houston. This would just be a month-to-date look back, but you can see in the last month if there have been any significant shifts that stick out to you offhand. You can also view rates during a range period. As I mentioned, our spot rates are updated on a daily basis. That is great for real-time day of coverage of loads, but if you are pricing long-term, say you need to price for a month, 3 months, or a year, you may want a longer look back for those rates that you're pulling. So with the track rate range, you can input the origin, destination, equipment type as usual, but you can also put in the date range that you would like to view these rates for. So this is looking from March of last year to current, and it is returning all of the rates in the last year on this lane. So you can see currently what we're at, how confident we feel in the rate, and if you scroll down, you will see how that value has fluctuated throughout the last year. Now, the beauty of Excel, one, you're getting that raw data in the spreadsheet you already work in, and you can also adjust and put your other formulas on top of the data that we're providing to make sure that you have all pieces of the puzzle to understand how rates are fluctuating on this lane and make better decisions. Same thing for contract rates. Again, contract rates are not moving as frequently. Ours are updated weekly. So you can see in the last year how the contract rate has changed to know when you're pricing that long-term business, what adjustments you need to make, how much markup you need to make on those shipments on the lane levels to ensure that you are set up for success, that you are putting as much cushion on that rate as you can to ensure that you're protecting your business. As I mentioned, a lot of our data sets are going to be updated daily, which is a great thing. But as you can see here, it is going to return a lot of data. And maybe you don't need the daily report or the weekly report of the data set. You just need an average of that time period, or you just want one value returned that is kind of taking all pieces of the puzzle and not so much returned. That is going to be where our summary formulas are coming in. So you can return an average from the time period that you've selected, and you can look at weekly, monthly, annually, and get an average returned. So if you want to see rejections for a month or a couple weeks, and you just want the average from that time period, you can return that there. Now, this is on a national level, but you can drill this down to your specific markets to see really how capacity has fluctuated on that lane and how that fits into your near and long-term pricing model. So if you are dealing with more spot-focused lanes, you probably just want to look at the near-term fluctuation and rejections. However, if you're contracted in on something long-term, it's going to be really helpful to see how those have changed on a quarterly basis to know what you need to make on a lane to remain profitable throughout the fluctuations in capacity. Same with our spot rates. With those being updated daily, it's a beautiful thing. But when you're looking at that longer term pricing, you may just want a quarterly or annual average from the last few years to see what range you need to be in to price that lane long term. Contract as well, and then some forecasting data points also. This really gives you all single returns that you would be looking for to help, input those data sets within your pricing models for RFP pricing, especially this time of year. But we also have our coverage guide indices. So once you've won this business, or if you have spot freight opportunities that you're pricing, we have our coverage guide tool that you can utilize within the UI. However, you can also return that data within Excel to help with load board prioritization if you do that from a spreadsheet to export to your team, or to implement these indices into your spot rate pricing models. So if you're working to automate those models and you want to have some market data to back those decisions, Coverage Guide is great for those near-term pricing. You can return all indices that you view within Coverage Guide. If you want to view rates, the high, the low, the confidence score, all pieces of the puzzle that we return, or if you know that your business is really correlated to that capacity condition or the difficulty score, you can choose to just return that piece and have that returned in your pricing models. And then based off that score and your network, building in those parameters to mark up X amount based off that. The API is going to be API in Excel. So within the Excel add-in would be the only place that you can return, just one of those indices instead of all of them currently. So really great if you know that that fits well within your business. Now, this training sheet is just an overview of the different capabilities available within the add-in. We have lots of people on our team that are Excel wizards who can really help you build out more complex templates, or you can brainstorm off of. They can help with ideas or build out something more catered to your needs to really automate that pricing process and ensure that you have all the data you need to set yourself up for success. Now, just to tease an example of something that our team has built out. I know this is small as Excel is, but for RFPs, this is going to be a batch lane example where really all you would have to do is upload the origin destination zip. So you can upload the information and then you are returned all of this market data very easily. So not uploading a template, downloading back out, really just filling out origin destination zips, and market data is automatically loading within your spreadsheet. So you can get lane score, which is going to be those longer term capacity conditions to know how difficult or easy it is to secure capacity on a market level. Also looking at rejections and how they're trending to know near term how difficult capacity will be for that lane. And then volume, what is demand doing on this lane level to really drive carriers to want to move the shipment? Is there a lot of freight to choose from out of this market? Is it not as desirable? And how is that going to affect my overall cost? Then looking at a 90-day look back for those spot rates as well as contract rates. So again, instead of just getting what is returned to you within the UI, this allows you to customize, 90, 180, 365 day look back to get more data to help return a rate that better fits your network. As well as those trend lines to help, okay, spot rates are going down on this lane. I need to make sure that I'm pricing more competitively to try to win this business. Again, this is just an example. We are really happy to help build out something that is catered to your network. But we have a lot of customers implementing this into their RFP and spot pricing tools, as well as just their spreadsheets in general and how they like to view the data. This gives you a way more customizable approach to the information that we provide. This tool is an add-on to our base SONAR subscriptions, but we've recently updated our product packaging. So a lot more of those packages will include this than previous. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us at cs@gosonar.com or your account manager. We would love to discuss this with you further. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this episode of WithSONAR. As always, if you have any requests for what you would like to see on future episodes, you can leave them in the comments below. And thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you have a great week.